water in Phoenix, I think to the average Phoenician doesn't mean enough. I think a lot of people, especially transplants who come from other parts of the world, expect that when they turn on the faucet in their house, that water is going to come out. If you were to ask the average Phoenician where their water comes from, I would bet you that most can't really articulate it beyond what comes from the canals. Everybody knows water comes from the canals, but in terms of understanding the hydrology of how water gets to the desert, I would bet you that most people can't articulate it.
The word desert, which was used for a long time as an abandoned or unpopulated space, right? So the relation with climatic conditions is kind of a modern thing. And relative to our context, which is I think why this interview is interesting, is that we live in kind of a paradox where we are in a desert, but there's no lack of water, but just the opposite. So water here is an available resource, but that doesn't mean, when I say this, that doesn't mean that it's something we could just count on forever, because it's limited, of course. If we think of which are the opportunities for to make a city successful in terms of public space or public facilities, if you want the physical outcome of soft infrastructures, I think it's not, or as much as I can understand so far in Phoenix, I think there's a lot of things to do yet, because, for example, all the network of canals in Phoenix, which were originally the foundation of this place, right now are not present in the public realm. I mean, we see them from the highways sometimes and the crossings, but there's no significant value for the city and for the citizens, right? Besides of running and cycling along the canals, which is great, and it's part of how you can leverage that. But what about the places to gather? What about the places where citizens could be more conscious as a society or as a community? What about using those as the foundations for the public space, for the new public space, right? Which indeed is what makes a city. It's really hard to find a public space in Phoenix, so I could argue that it's still a city to become, right? So, in my opinion, water infrastructures in the Phoenix metro area are maybe not the only ones, but the big opportunity for the city to become.
One of the most important parts of the studio is the realization that water means something here, different than it means in other places, because here we have to put so much resource into getting water to us. And with that, we have a certain type of respect for it. You know, change comes slowly, and there is a wave of change about the infrastructure for water in Phoenix, and it is starting to happen. There's been exhibits about it, there have been books about it, there's an institute down here at ASU that's studying water now. We're doing water as an issue in the school. We've done it before, we'll do it again. It needs to become a movement, right? It needs to become something that is about the cultural history of this place. People need to come to Phoenix and think, oh, that place is really about water. It's not that water is more important in the desert than it is anywhere else. Water is equally important everywhere. Water is life, so we have to respect it and learn how to use it carefully and celebrate it.